Hello students, I am Pushpanjali from Cbse English classes. Today I am going to teach you Fire and Ice, class 10 poetry written by Robert Frost. As you all know, Robert Frost was born in San Francisco on 26th March 1874 and he died on 29 January 1963. Now come to the poetry. Now in this poetry you can see fire and ice. Fire stands for desire and ice stands for hatred. So according to Robert Frost, the title Fire and Ice symbolizes, the symbol fire is used here for desire and ice here is used for hatred. Now see, in this poetry, the poet is describing his internal idea for the world. This is a universal truth that nothing is permanent here. One day, everything has to destroy. The same thing will happen to this world also. A spiritual message in this poem we are getting. Now come to the line by line explanation, children. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Now in this paragraph, the poet is telling that some people in this world will end in fire. Some people says that in this world will end in fire, while according to other, it will end in ice. But the poet favors the people who think that the world will end in fire. So why Robert Frost, according to Robert Frost, he is telling that he will favor fire? Because he told here, fire stands for desire. And when we become very desirous, very passionate, our passion develops, its very sudden destruction is caused. You can take an example of paper. You burn that paper. Within a second, the paper will burn. So this way we can see a sudden destruction is there. So it is told by Robert Frost, if we should not become very passionate towards anything. If we become very passionate, then destruction is sure and certain. Now come to the second paragraph. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Now, in this stanza, the poet says that it would be very fearful if the world destroys twice, just as the ice can destroy the world by melting slowly. Similarly, the hatred brings the nation on the brink of destruction. So now, dear children, you can see here, if poet is telling, if the world will get to destroy twice, then he will favor ice. Why? Because ice here stands for hatred. And hatred, what is hatred? Ice, when ice is melting, take the example of now again ice. You take a ice in your hand. The ice will melt slowly. The destruction is there. Final destruction is also there. But it is slow process. Slowly it is taking place. Isn't it? But destruction is that's sure that destruction is there. Okay. So at last we get a message, very nice message from this poetry, that to be far away from hatred and jealousy and live together with love. He warns us that if we do not do so, the world will face more trouble than that caused by fire and ice. Now, in this very nice message is given by Robert Frost, that we should not become very passionate also towards anything, and we should not develop hatred also in ourselves. Okay, dear children. Now come to the poetic devices used in this poetry. See, number 1, assonance. So assonance is a poetic device in which repetition of vowel sounds in the same line, such as long sound of O. You can see here, I hold with those who favor fire. So O sound got repeated. So vowel sound got repeated. That is why in this line it is assonance. Now second one is alliteration. So alliteration is the poetic device in which the repetition of the consonant sound in the same line, such as The sound of F you can see. I hold with those who favor fire. So F got repeated here. That is why it is alliteration. Now come to the imagery. Now imagery is a poetic device used to make readers perceive things involving their five senses. For example, see in this line, some say the world will end in fire, and to say that for destruction ice is also great. So it is just a imaginary, isn't it? Now come to the fourth point, that is symbolism. What is symbolism? Symbolism is a poetic device. It is use of symbol to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meaning different from their literal meaning. We have seen in this paragraph, in this poetry, the poet has given the symbolic meaning. Fire here stands for desire, and ice stands for hatred. So you can see in this line, fire is the symbol of desires and ice symbolize hatred. Similarly, now you can see that in the beginning only the poet has given the title Fire and Ice. So it is a symbolic poetry, like we have seen in the Snow of Dust also. Robert Frost has written that poetry also, and he has used the symbols, isn't it? Now come to the rhyming scheme of the poetry. Okay, now see. Fire and Ice is a 9-line single stanza rhyming poem with a strong metrical base of limbic treatment and the diameter. Now here you can see the rhyming scheme. What is the rhyming scheme? The first stanza we will see, the first stanza rhyming scheme. I am coming to the poetry so that it should be clear to you. See, the last word, twice is rhyming with ice. It is not rhyming with hate. So A and hate is B. Then A, B and ice is rhyming with twice. So here again A. And here great, hate and great. So A, B and suffices again A. So A, B, This is the rhyming scheme of the first stanza. Now come to the, that was the second stanza. Come to the first stanza. Fire, ice. Now fire is getting, here it is getting the rhyming with ice. No. So fire again here A and ice B. Desire A and fire A. Then A, B, A, the rhyming scheme of this stanza. Getting, children? Now come finally to the, what the message, what is the idea of the poetry, what the idea the poet is giving us. The poem revolves around the theme that human emotions are destructive when they are out of control. They can destroy a person morally, physically, or even mentally. The poet tells us about the destructive wearing of ill feelings like love, lust, intolerance, greed, hatred. So here in this poem, the poet signifies love, passion, now as fire, and hatred, greed as ice. So the world represents the relationship of humankind. Very nice idea the poet is having about this poetry. Now the theme of the poetry in this poem, Robert Frost points out that humans will be the agents of our own destruction, one way or another. He compares desire to fire and hate to ice. Both desire and hate are represented by physical forces that could lead to our extinction. Now thank you, children. I hope you understood this poetry. If you like this poetry, then like and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.